After 17 rounds, it has all come down to this. The season finale here at Rush Racing League Season 10 Division 1. 5 drivers still mathematically within contention for the championship. 3 very likely candidates for that same championship. Top 3 separated by just 5 points. The entirety of our championship protagonists separated by just 25 points from P1 to P5. McJamie, Fatcat, and Aiden Desraden are your primary title contenders, while Pop Top and JF7 are right on the fringes of championship glory. It is going to be a good time here in Silverstone for the last dance of Division 1. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Ruckus, and I will be one of your hosts and commentators for tonight's action. And alongside me tonight to bring you this dramatic season finale here, it is Daniel. Daniel, how you doing tonight, mate?
Doing pretty awesome. One key little thing you forgot to say, the winner of the reserve program. The fun fact, that was my first ever win with this league. So that felt pretty amazing, but I'm excited to see this 3 cars. It gives me vibes back to last year, Lando, Oscar, and Max. I was mostly ready for Oscar, but I'm excited to see what goes on here, Rekkers.
It's going to be a fun time indeed. Yeah, we got only 13 drivers on the grid, but when you have about 5 of them being still within championship contention, then it is still all to play for here. So, pretty much, I'm just going to go ahead and just state the cases while we get into the opening laps of qualifying what the call is going to be for tonight, and what is going to be the how everybody can win the championship, pretty much. So, here we go. For JF7, who is literally on the cusp, he would need to get the race win, and he would pretty much need everybody ahead of him to DNF. So, with the exception of Pop Top, so we need Aiden, Fatcat, and McJamie to all DNF, and JF7 would need to win. That is the only way the Kicksauber driver can win the title. Or, and even then, it would go to count back. He would need to also grab a fastest lap too to get 26 points. Pop Top, he would also more than likely he would need McJamie, Fatcat, and Aiden Raiden to not score, and he would need to get a win or a P2 with both fastest lap and cleanest drive. Now, for the 3 drivers who are just statistically more likely to go ahead and get this title, we'll go ahead and start things off with the driver P3 in the championship, only 5 points behind McJamie. He would have to win the race, and if he really wants to make it secure, he needs to win the race with the fastest lap, and he pretty much has to make sure that McJamie gets P2, or if Aiden is rated wins the race and McJamie is P3 or lower, then that could be a championship win for him. Now, the thing about Fat Cat and McJamie is whoever just does better between the 2 of them, that's gonna be your race winner pretty much. It's just whoever does better between them, because Fat Cat and McJamie are separated by 1 singular point. So pretty much whoever does better out of those 2 will be your driver's champion if it comes down to that. If Aiden Raiden does not win, and Aiden's already having a very tricky start. He has spun into the grass here at the home of British motor racing. So a very tough corner indeed, but I mean it's early stages as Webber sets the first time of the session with a 1:26.182. Silverstone is one of the most iconic tracks in the first ever Formula One track that Formula One has actually raced at back in 1950. So lots of history here, and history is going to be made tonight at this same venue.
Yes, as you pointed out, the home of British motorsports, as Fat Cat Batman puts in a stonker of a lap, 24.996 from Mr. Batman. What a lap by him, and then you got JF or JDI Thunder, P2 with a 25.6, MJ with a 25.7, and then Pop Top Bongo with a 25.9. So it's kind of really close. If you guys didn't watch the reserve program, it was way closer than this. I'm pretty sure the top three were separated by like 10 thousandths or something. But let's see what McJammy can do. He's all the way at the bottom of the field at the moment. He's coming around the final chicane. Be careful not to take those big sausage curbs. Those can really mess up your lap. McJammy to the line. He goes up to P2 with a 25.0. McJammy's in this. He's actually in this Requez as he goes P2 with a 25.016.
The championship leader by a singular point, doing a good job here so far, as it is going to be a good run here for everybody. Right now, it is Fat Cat and McJammy, the top two in the Drivers' Championship, really going ahead and trying to close things out. So, this track is a very fun one, as we love the communicating with services. We love seeing that. But we're going to just see how it all pans out in terms of the championship. Here's some stuff about Silverstone. Silverstone is a very tricky track indeed. It's got a lot of very iconic corners. And we'll go ahead and narrate one of the laps here coming up shortly, just to kind of go through it. But it's a really fun track. It's difficult. Dirty air is going to be a factor, as well as just weather, because, British weather is extremely bipolar, kind of like Florida weather. So, as everybody's coming into the pits, we'll jump on board with Aiden if he's not pulling in. So, this is the third driver who is in the mathematical contention for the Drivers' Championship. He's only 5 points back from McJammy, 4 points back from Fat Cat. So, this could be a really good charge. So, we'll go ahead and talk about this track. The track, it's an old Air Force base used during World War II. The track itself has actually been around since 1948. A much different layout than the layout we see today. This current layout has been around since about 2021, and it's got a lot of corners, 5.89 kilometers around, 3.660 miles in length for one lap here around this very, very fantastic circuit. So, just going to go through with Aiden's Raiden as he is kind of pushing on through. He's making his way, coming through Stowe, making a run down Vale into Club, is what I would normally say, as he is going to come into the pits to go ahead and get geared up for his next run. So, this is a very interesting track. Lots of dirty air, especially through Maggots and Beckett's. And following can be a bit tough here. As we continue on here with our lap. Everybody's pretty much on our lap now, so we'll go ahead and just try to keep an eye on things and see how things play out. And I'll be really interested to see how this one pans out, because, I mean, it's such a close championship fight here, Daniel. It is going to be cinematic to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. As Fat Cat Batman has left the session, I'll try and shoot him an invite. But yeah, very close battle. You said the leader was separated by like 1 point or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's real close. What about the gap to P3? What's the gap? What's that gap?
From P1 to P3 is only 5 points.
Yeah, that's real close. 6 points to separating the top three.
5.
It's anyone's game, Reckers, as I'm going to try to shoot my boy, the pole sitter at the moment, an invert.
Weber will now come across the line. We'll see how he's going to go and do. He's making his way now, coming into Maggot the Beckett's, as he's going to go ahead and just push his way through. Now, you really need this track, or you need to take this part of the track with clear air. If you don't, you're going to be in a rough spot. And it is super easy to validate, just like Webba did. He did invalidate right there. So, McJamie now making his way. He is beginning a new lap here to try to upset his former teammate, the reserve driver of Fatcat, jumping into Williams, trying to get a championship win in a Williams. As a bit of a slide there coming through Aintree as they now go down the Wellington Straight. Gonna go ahead and I think this is gonna be a cooldown lap or a harvest lap. So no real pushing there. Now another driver who is actively pushing, making his way coming down the Wellington Straight, going into Brooklands and now Luffield is going to be one JF7. JF7 now 25 points back in the Drivers' Championship. He still can win this, but it is a tough mountain to climb as he goes and makes his way through Cops. Now making the run to Maggots and Beckett's. It is so easy to just overdrive the car coming through this famous set of S's, and you can invalidate extremely quickly now as they go down the Hangar Straight, the longest straight here on the racetrack. And then you're coming down into Stowe, getting a good run on exit here. Now coming down Vale into the final chicane, which is known as Club, before coming onto the Hamilton Straight. He's going to burn across the line, and he does improve, but only by a thousandth of a second to put him in P5. Pop Top actually improves quite a bit. He's within now half a second of the front two. But the front two, both in qualifying and in the Drivers' Championship, have a pretty significant margin compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get Fatcat Backman still in the lobby. But yeah, as you said, Pop Top Bongo improving by quite a lot. Only half a second separates him and Mr. Batman, of course. But overall, so far, it's quite close from Pop Top Bongo, maybe down to P10 of Flubber. 25-9, 25-8, 25-7. Yeah, it's really close. But I'm still trying to work on getting Batman still and back to the lobby.
Yeah, so to answer the last two questions that I've had in the chat, Inside Info states that it is supposed to be that they think it's going to be a dry race this time around. So the clouds are just there to give us hope that we will have a wet season finale here in Div 1. And as in terms of a bold prediction, ooh, and a bold prediction would be that I think Fat Cat and Mick Jamie are gonna have a little bit of contact with each other at least once. I think they're gonna collide at least once. It won't be race ending. It might not even knock an end plate off, but there's definitely gonna be a touch of the wheels at some point between our top two in the Drivers' Championship. So as everybody gets ready for rush hour, I'm going to quickly try to re-invite my co-host as my co-host has been disconnected. So I'm going to try to grab him and invite real quick as we get ready for rush hour here. Easy enough. And then, yeah, we'll just wait for rush hour to kick in because it is coming. The final, and I will state this again, the final rush hour of Season 10 Div 1 is about to be underway here in Silverstone. The official calendar for next season should be getting revealed here soon, unless it might have actually been. I know that the Madrid has been revealed to be on the calendar, so that's going to be a fun one. I was hoping that it would be there. The new street track in Madrid, Spain is going to make its way on to the calendar. And with that being said, It is going to be a fun time to see how that track plays out. I like what I've seen from it so far. It's kind of like a Miami Zandvoort hybrid, and I love both of those tracks. So I think it's got a lot of good potential. So we'll just kind of have to see how the race actually does. The thing I'm probably one of the most excited things about when it comes to the new DLC is the fact that my team is still going to be a thing, and we can make it a 24 car grid. Cinema.
Yeah, 24 car grid. Can't wait for that. More drivers and more chaos on every track as we are waiting for that famous rush hour traffic to come out of the pit lane for the final time. It's going to be sad not to hear it again until we start up next season, which I'm guessing will be with the DLC. But Pop Top Bongo's on a lap, so let's follow him around this famous circuit, home of British motorsport, as he is going around trying to improve, trying to gain that 5/10 and see if he can challenge Fat Cat Batman for pole. Down the straight he goes with DRS and ERS enabled. We're going to wait for his first sector split. He's a 10th up. He needs to gain 4/10 more as rush hour traffic is starting to exit the pit lane. So we're going to wait for all those people to come around on their outlaps as he is about to come through. I don't know all the corner names, but through as he almost lost the rears. That would have been bad. Normally, if you run a low downforce setup, you can take that flat, which I was. I was running a low downforce setup during the reserve program, but his second sector split, almost a second off, and he's backed off. He's aborted this lap. So let's see what Fat Cat Batman has at the moment. He's a 10th and a bit up, coming through that right-hander where Popped Up Bongo almost bottled it. Through Maggots and Beckett's we go. Making sure not to get that track limits. Making sure to get that exit. And he does. There's a Kick Sauber in the way. But he's a 10th and a bit up. He is improving. This could be a pole lap for Batman. The championship protagonist. Well, yeah, one of them. One of the 5, I'm guessing. Through, well, I'm guessing Club is now. As Liam Durenberg is retired, he's done. To the line, Fat Cat Batman. He improves by only a 10th. 24.893. That is provisional pole for Batman, Wreckers.
Yeah, Fat Cat does go ahead and jump up into provisional pole, and he is sitting in pole by just a 10th of a second. So the gap does expand. He was only 2/100ths of a second ahead of McJamie earlier. The gap does extend a little bit. And if there's any sandbagging during the season between these guys, then it is those sandbags are going straight off the car into the ocean. And we're going to see the absolute true pace of these competitors here this evening. So it's going to be a beautiful championship battle. Pop Top Bongo, he's not quite improving though. He's a couple of tenths off as qualifying is about to wrap up. We'll see if who's going to go ahead and do it. Aiden Raiden is not in the spot that he would want to be in his championship campaign. The timer has hit 0, so we're going to see who's going to finish where. Pop Top, he finishes up his lap. He will not improve. As JDI will be the next one. Will he improve at all? He's coming through the final sectors. He's one of our drivers in the contention. The one driver the furthest out when it comes to the championship. He will not improve. He will remain as is. M. John going to be next one across the line. He jumps up actually up into 4th. Or he will remain in 4th. Flubber in the Alpine goes in and makes his way up into P3. Can McJamie have a response? Can Aiden have a response? The two out of the 3 drivers in the top 3 in the championship separated by only 5 points. And we're going to see where they stack up. Aiden's rated. He improves up to 4th. That's a much better standing there for the championship hopeful. As now, I think Fatcat's pulled into the pits, so it is now all up to. It is all up to McJammy. Can he get pole? He improves his time, but not his position. Only 27 milliseconds from P1 to P2. And boy, oh boy, do we have a race on our hands here tonight for the season finale. As we go through our drivers here, it is going to be Fat Cat ahead of McJeremy, ahead of Flubber, Aina's Raiden, Swift, Pop Top Bongo, M. John, JDI, Webba, Zach, Katusha, Sick Party, and Liam Doreenberg, rounding out your 13 driver grid. It is going to be a small yet mighty grid here tonight, Daniel. This should be a good one.
Yes, it will be a good one when you see that P1 gap by 27 thousandths of a second, and then Flubber back there in P3, another 4 and a bit tenths back. You're going to want to focus on the start, because whoever gets the best start between those two, Batman and Mr. Jimmy or whatever the heck his name is, yeah, focus on the start. Whoever gets to run to turn 1 wins it for me, honestly. But it could be way different. Could be someone in P5 gets a better launch than everyone in front of them. Because that's what happened to me in the reserve program. I got a better launch than most of the cars around me because my low downforce setup. So we're gonna see who's kind of running a high downforce setup or a low downforce setup. You're gonna be able to tell through the corners, Wreckers.
Indeed, you will. So we're just gonna see how this all pans out here for one last rodeo here in Season 10. The last time you'll be seeing these Div 1 drivers go ahead and take to the track in these 2025 spec cars. As the next time you'll see Rush Racing Div 1 will be in the 2026 Formula 1 cars, with Cadillac and Audi joining the grid. It'll be interesting to see who goes where, who's going to be racing for which teams starting next season. And this should be a beautiful, beautiful way to wrap up the season here in Div 1. As we go ahead and get ready, shout out to Gangster for subscribing at Tier 1. They've been subscribed for 6 months here on the Rush Racing Twitch channel, so a massive thank you to Gangster for the support. And we always appreciate all the support you guys give us here in the chat. But here we go for one last dance here in Season 10. It is lights out and away we go here in Silverstone. Everybody starting on that medium tower compound. Everybody going to go ahead and do what they can to fight it out. Fat Cat does get the starts that he needs. But we already see that McJammy's looking pretty punchy here. Trying to get the moves done very early on here. As they are making their way through. Things are going to get tight. As they make their way now down to Wellington Straight, coming into Brooklands. And it is a good getaway for Fat Cat as McJammy does hold on here to this position. But he does have Flubber trying to make things complicated here for McJammy. As it sits right now, Fat Cat will be your driver's champion here at this stage. JDI making up positions. Katusha making up some positions. It is expected to be a two-stop around here, especially when the dirty air coming through Maggots and Beckett's. And this is going to be a good run here. But Fat Cat does have the advantage. Maggots and Beckett's is a really tough corner when it comes to dirty air. They're going to go ahead and make their way now down the hangar straight. And then they're going to go ahead and make their way through Stowe coming up to Club. And DRS will be enabled here, so this should be a good run. I'm going to try to quickly get Daniel back in as we have completed the first lap around Silverstone.
Yeah, EA is not really being Yeah, he's not agreeing with me at the moment. But this is what happened last time in Zandvoort. EA just decided to go, you know what, Daniel's commentating, let's boot him out twice. But I'll be back in here momentarily to do another lap for this race. But well, I was watching the start, there was contact between Liam Durenberg and Sick Party. So as you see, Liam Durenberg in the pits probably replacing his front wing from that contact with Sick Party. But as I am just loading in now, we got a bit of a battle for P3 on track wreckers.
Indeed, we do. It is going to be a bit of connectivity there as well. As we're going to go ahead and continue racing on here through Silverstone. Following through Maggots is so tough, especially with the dirty air. That really throws these cars around a bit. McJammy is going to try to close in the gap here, try to go ahead and stay close to his championship rival. And they're going to go ahead and fight. Aiden Rain is down a spot. He is going down in the P5. Fatcat does get the fastest lap, but only temporarily, as M. John will actually be the last driver to truly pick up that fastest lap accolade here this time by. As Aiden is right now trying to catch back up to Swift, and he is fighting here. So it seems like EA stuff is just happening, period, today. Because I feel like there's a lot of drivers who are having little connectivity bounces that normally do not have connectivity bounces. So we'll just kind of play that one out by ear. Hopefully we don't have to do a red flag, because that would be a very tricky way to continue on here with the season finale here of Div 1. We got 5 races here this week. No reserve program this week due to the season ending. So you have 5 divisions. Divisions 1 through 5. So we'll just kind of see how each one pans out. Every division but one has had the driver who still has the drivers' championship up for grabs. And Div 3 is the only one with its championship decided already. But the constructors are going to go down to the wire, so that should be a fun one to look at as well. Flubber looking for a look, though, on to McJammy. And that would really complicate the championship leaders' efforts for the Drivers' Championship.
Yes, yes. As you see, Aiden Israel has completed a pass for 5th position. He's behind his teammate. Is he? Yeah, he is. He's behind his teammate. I wonder if there's going to be any papaya rules or RB rules going on. He must be saying, oh, I'm quicker than him, let me by. Maybe, let's see. As Fatcat Batman starting to stretch his leg a bit from Jammy, starting to pull that gap up a bit. It's about 0.7 of a second now, and I've lagged out. EA's just being mean. EA's just being absolutely mean to me at the moment. And I don't like it.
Yeah, it might just be EA having an epiphany altogether, because it's been having a bit of a moment. I've seen the entire lobby have a bit of a connectivity burst here, so who knows? We'll keep an eye on things. I'll try to get you one last invite here, just really quickly, and then after that, I think I'm at the invitee limit. So we'll just kind of see. Hopefully, it keeps you in for the rest of this fantastic season finale, as we're about to approach lap 5 out of 26. As McJammy is still trying to close in the gap. Pulling away from Flubber a bit, which is what he needs to do. He needs to pull away from Flubber and try to make his way closer to Fatcat here. Fatcat pretty good on battery. You can see that McJammy is deploying a good amount more battery as it sits at the moment. He's trying to catch up. He's trying to run away from Flubber, and I feel like he might be running one of those lower downforce stops. So here we go. He has gone for the angle. He will not attack, but he did have the angle to do so. He could have sent one up the inside, but oh boy, the connectivity here is having a bit of an epiphany tonight. So, um, we'll see how this one does pan out as they continue to scrap it out here. And it looks like one of the V cars ran a bit wide. I think that might have been Aiden. I think running a bit wide there. No, it might have been one of the Haas's. So we'll just kind of see how it's all going to go to play out. All battling here for position. We are fighting for these titles and also fighting EA at the same time. What a combination to go through here at the season finale of Rush. Battling out here for position, fighting for the championship here while fighting EA server shenanigans. So we're in for quite a bit of a treat. I'll try to get Daniel one last invite, but after this invite, I do not believe I can send any further ones. So let's hope, for all of our sakes, that it's just one more and done. As McJamie now, this is the closest he has been so far, but he is not going to use the battery. He's going to go to recharge here and try to make magic happen. As McJamie is going to go ahead and try to hold on here to this position and hold up a good spot, because I think he's got a bit of a dual threat going on, because he wants to go with the Fatcat and try to get this driver's title, because whoever does better between those two is driver's champion, pretty much. But Flubber is here just to make things all sorts of difficult. As we continue here on lap 6 out of 26, Aiden Israelin is going to go ahead and try to continue to make his way up the field. He's currently up in the 4th. He needs to be in P1 if he wants this championship win. But he's pretty close actually to the championship leaders. Fatcat really just controlling the pace of the race here. So we are going to just go ahead and kind of see how the rest of it does pan out. Fatcat is controlling the pace. That's exactly what he needs to do. If he wants this championship, he needs to, at minimum, he needs to beat McJamie. Because if he beats McJamie here, then championship of the world is going to be his name tag. So we'll just kind of see how this one pans out. But so far, it's been a race of controlled pace and just trying to keep your car facing in the right direction here tonight.
Yeah, very, very, very controlled pace. I reckon Fat Cat Backman is where, you know, EA's just, EA's, I quit.
EA shenanigans. They always bite you at the worst possible time. It's happened a few times this season to a few different comps. It happened to me during a reserve program in Hungary. So that does happen. It is unfortunate that we have lost Daniel here. And I think, well, unfortunately, guys, you guys are stuck with me here tonight. Just, we'll see here as we continue on. Aiden Raiden is going to go ahead and try. He's actually the closest he has been here tonight to Flubber to try to snag a podium. And they're going to go ahead and continue racing on here. And they're going to go ahead and continue to scrap it out and do battles. As they're going to go ahead and just try. But following on this track is going to be difficult. Because you got all the dirty air, right? And dirty air, especially in these ground fat cars. And it's tough. So, okay, well, this whole thing is getting a little lopsided. So, we love tech issues, ladies and gentlemen. So, you'll see this happen just because I had to actually fix my stuff. So, we are just hitting every tech issue in the book here tonight, aren't we? But if you don't have any kind of random tech issues that you haven't been broadcasting, I will just say that much. coming along through Maggins and Beckett now. This is going to be a tricky one here. Flubber, he's been so close, but yet so far away from McJammy. As nobody really, I mean, if I was McJammy, I'd at least want to try to pass Fatcat so I could start controlling the pace. And then also get out of the dirty air so I could save my mediums a little bit. Because Fatcat's mediums are going to be in a much better state because he hasn't been following through the dirty air. As Popped Up Bongo will be the first one to make a pit stop here. So he is going to go ahead and just call it early and try to get an undercut going here for position. Swapping out the tires in a number 13 Mercedes. He's going to attach a new front wing. And then he's going to go ahead and get sent back out onto the racing circuit. So we'll see. He's going to come out probably just at a Liam, but behind everybody else here. So coming back through, the Mercedes actually will come out right at the back of the field. So if we do this, so he's about 32 seconds back from the race lead. I'm not sure. I don't think he'll be able to get it unless Fat Cat and McJammy lose a bunch of pace. Side by side though, Aiden is trying to raid his way up into P3. He will not be successful coming through Maggots and Beckett. You don't really see many overtakes through those corners, but he will have a good DRS run here coming down into Stowe. And we're going to see how this one pans out. Oh, but look at this. Flubber's in the pits right now. So Flubber is into the pits. And he will go ahead and start the undercut process here. So Flubber now in the pits. He's going to go in and swap off of those 9-lap-old mediums and jump onto a set of hard tires going on now. So it'll be medium hard for Flubber. And then it's going to be a pretty tricky run to get this fired up, but I believe he'll be able to do it. As McJammy is still trying to close in the gap. They've dropped Aiden though. So it's really just now a 2-horse race at the moment, but Aiden's right on the cusp of DRS range. He'll be in trouble from Swift. I'm curious to see if his teammate will do anything or if it's going to be V-Carb rules being applied here. So, McJammy now trying to close in the gap, but once again, going through Maggots and Beckett's makes things really difficult to follow. So you really got to just be careful not to run it wide over track limits. As we're going to see the run down here coming into Stowe. But the gap will close up ever so slightly. I think it might just be McJammy having a bit of a lower downforce setup compared to Fatcat. Because Fatcat, I feel like just is grabbing him in all these corners. As Swith is in the pits. So Swith is going to try something here. As Fatcat, McJammy, and Aiden do stay out. So typically we don't put the battery the telemetry on unless it's an onboard lap. What I like to do when I'm trying to find the data is I look at the steering wheel to kind of see, because right now you can tell it's hard to see unless you really look at it. But Fatcat is really burning battery here down the Wellington straight, as Pop Top says the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And yeah, these two are really just burning up a ton of battery on this stage. So it's going to be a pretty tricky run here. Because right now, Fatcat's got a lot more battery to play with here. As McJammy is deploying to try to catch up to the Williams. But they have dropped Aiden now by almost 3 seconds. They have dropped Aiden. So, wow, I mean, these guys are really just giving it their all. They're leaving nothing to chance. They are just doing everything that they need to do here. Absolute cinema from these two battling. I'll be surprised if somebody doesn't try to go for a bit of an undercut. Swift, 3-second time penalty for track limit violations. And now I'm almost thinking, I'm also starting to wonder, I ponder, are we going to see these two actually go for the full one stop here at Silverstone? It's not common, and they're going to be the only two actually potentially on this strategy as we are continuing on here. Aiden is in the pit, so actually a good chunk of drivers are now in the pit, so only drivers who have yet to pit are the top two in the race and the top two in the world championship. And we'll just kind of see how the rest of this pans out. Because we're getting close to about half race distance. And then from that point on, it is still, I think probably, I mean, if you make it to about lap 13, you could probably make it the other 14 or so on this compound. Or on the hard compound. So a one stop might just be on the cards here for Fatcat and McJammy. So, um, what details, what details are you looking for, Wally? Just go ahead and let us know, and we'll go ahead and answer to the best of our ability. And both of them are in now. So, both of our championship leaders are now into the pits. So, we'll see where they come out ahead in terms of catching up or just pitting. It is a slow pit lane here in Silverstone. A bit of a slower one. Um, we'll see how these guys come out here. Pretty much still nose to tail as they kind of see. We'll see how they go through. What Flubber's actually jumped them both. So Flubber, who made the stop 3 laps earlier, has actually jumped them both. I mean, it's still gonna be Fat Cat's championship if he finishes like this, just due to the 1 point between. But as this is run out, Fat Cat will be your Div 1 Drivers Champion as it sits here at the moment. So they're going to go ahead and just try to fight it out here for these positions. But now with about a 7/10 of a second gap between Fat Cat and McJammy. Now Fat Cat's going to be getting his first taste of the dirty air here as they continue making their way now through Maggots and Beckett's before coming on to the hangar straight. And actually, Flubber's actually dropped both Fat Cat and McJammy out of DRS range. He has dropped both the Williams and the Red Bull, which last week would have been both of the Red Bulls. So, seeing Fat Cat here in a Williams, he is a reserve driver, free to go wherever he chooses. This time he has chosen the blacked out Williams. So, I'll be very keen on seeing how Flubber's tires really hold up, because he is on 3-lap older tires compared to the rest of the field. Some drivers I'm pretty sure are going to try to commit to the 2-stop. The rest are probably going to try to for a 1-stop. I know Fat Cat and McJammy, they're probably going to go for the 1-stop here. I'd be very surprised otherwise. We are in the second half of the Grand Prix, so those hard tires it'll be tricky, but those hard tires will definitely get to the end here. Fat Cat trying to get within DRS range here of Flubber, the Alpine driver, trying to maximize the overalls. That is going to be the name of the game here. He wants to try to maximize the overalls as they continue to speed on through. Webber now trying to close in to Swift. Now Ainasrain is a bit further back here as he continues, but he is going to go ahead and try to make the move on it to, he's trying to get one on the Webber, trying to fire up the inside of the Mercedes man, but just not yet. Oh, he's going to try one way, try another, going into club. He's going to be brave on the brakes. Webber still holding the line. Still holding the outside. And just trying to stick it around. Coming through on the Hamilton straights. Coming around club. What a good maneuver. What a good maneuver there from Aines Raiden to get one on to Weber. He may be just right outside of the championship contention at this stage, at least with the way the race is currently going. But with that all being said, still a mighty fine effort. A mighty fine effort here, if I do say so myself. So, McJamie is still going to try to close in here. And we'll see about the battery situation here. So, for Fatcat's got more battery to play with here. McJamie is trying to deploy. I think the deployments really is what's keeping McJamie here in this battle. The two V-Guards are going to swap positions, so it is going to be Aiden back up into fourth. Swift does have that 3-second time penalty. So that's going to kind of hurt his race, and even if his teammate wasn't in championship contention, he'd probably just let him through anyway, just due to depends. But Aiden is right now pretty much trying to catch up to McJamie. So Aiden is right in. He would need to win the race here to try to become the driver's champion. Flubber is not in contention, so it won't really matter too much for him. But whoever comes out on top between Fatcat and McJamie will be the driver's champion. So that is going to be a fun little skirmish to watch. But Aiden's Randy could get involved in this and could kind of partially be a factor in the championship. He could do a factor. So Aiden Raiden still trying to catch up to McJamie. McJamie trying to catch up to Fatcat. So it is a bit of a cycle here as we are approaching the final 10 laps of Div 1's season. It's crazy to think we've already hit that point of the season, but hey, time flies when you're having fun. Time flies indubitably when you're having fun. So McJamie now going to try to close in this gap here, but it's so tough here on this track. I feel like they should, I mean, maybe with a straight mode, they should probably, I feel like they could add one onto the Hamilton straight just before the opening series of corners. Your gap to leader as it stands. Only about 11 seconds separating the field. So with Liam being the only exception, Liam is on a two-stop strategy at the moment. So he is the only driver to make two stops. He might be the only one to make two stops here on the day. We'll just see how it pans out. But as it sits, McJamie will be P2 in the Drivers' Championship, with Fatcat taking the championship win here if the race finishes as it sits here at the moment. As we're going to go ahead and continue battling on here for these positions, we're going to take a look at the Constructors' Championship to kind of see how things are panning out there in the Constructors. So after the penultimate round in Zandvoort, Mercedes and Red Bull are still kind of fighting for this championship. Although, it's tough, but I think it's going Red Bull's way. Or no, actually, I think it might be going Mercedes' way. Depending. I can try to do the math, but it's all going to come down to penalties anyway. So Mercedes does have a 25-point lead in the championship. And I don't think McJamie's the sole Red Bull here, so I don't think he's going to gain enough on the two Mercedes to swing the championship to that much of an extent. As Pop Top and M. John into the pits now. So they are going to go ahead and run the two-stop. So, I mean, yeah, McJamie, for Red Bull to win the championship, McJamie would have to win and the two Mercedes, which is now the score points. So we do have an onboard lap coming on in. We'll see who it is for, or if it is dealer's choice. We'll be curious to see how that one plays out. And I'm going to actually do something I haven't done for Rush in a while, if we do that. Yep, it is dealer's choice, and I'm actually going to also call something that I haven't called here on Rush in a hot minute. The comms are going to go ahead and mute for the onboard lap. I'll turn the telemetry on for you guys for the lap, and it'll be a Ruckus hydration lap. So I haven't done one of those here in a hot minute, so it'll be a Ruckus hydration lap with Aiden is Raiden next time by on board. So we'll see how it's going to go. Riding on board now with Aiden is Raiden, and it'll be hydration lap time. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back here very momentarily, but enjoy the lap with Aiden. Alright, everybody. Hopefully you did enjoy that. There is about 7 laps to go here in the Grand Prix, as McJammy has actually dropped from Fatcat's DRS range, which is not good for his championship chances. As Fatcat's going to go ahead. He's actually caught up to Flummer now, who is on 3-lap older hard tires, which will surely begin to struggle towards the end. As Pop Top does get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And as it sits right now, Fatcat will be your driver's champion. Mercedes will be your constructor's champion, as it sits right now. So this is going to be a very tough run. I mean, as Fatcat does move into the championship lead, or into the race lead, coming through Maggots and Baggots, that's a place you don't see many overtakes, but the Alpine did go ahead and give him the room. So that is going to be Fatcat now ahead. And also, we got to talk about the overalls, too, because the overalls are definitely going to be a key factor coming up here as well. Alpine still in the lead of the overalls as it sits, but they are in a very tight battle with Mercedes. But even then, I say tight. It's tight in terms of overall standards. And actually, that is from Monaco. So I don't have the exact details from Zandvoort, but as I said, Alpine are looking very likely to take the overall championship here in Rush Racing Season 10. They'll be the champions going into Season 11. So that'll be absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to see what the Season 11 counter looks like. It'll probably, if I were a betting man, it'll probably be revealed at the end of the Div 3 race, which is the last race of the season, and the only division where a driver's championship has already been decided at. So I'll be really I know the Madrid is going to be on there, which I kind of knew that if it was going to be in the game in the first place, it was going to be on the calendar. So, as far as I know, they're still going to be working on it. I don't think the calendar is fully officialized yet. I think a lot of it was kind of hinging on if the Madrid was going to be in the game, because we didn't know. We didn't know if it was going to be part of the 2026 DLC season or not, which does come out on June 3rd, so there'll be a lot of testing. And expect, I mean, I can at least say that we're probably going to see at minimum a preseason, because it's probably going to be a pretty lengthy preseason, I would imagine. Because preseason, I think before season 9, preseason took like about a month, because we were just getting into F1 25, as there has been a Haas having a bit of a moment there. And that would be M. John having a bit of a tricky moment. And counter is fully done, so it is waiting for all but the announcement. We'll be announcing on awards night. Alright, so there we go. So, you heard it here first. You heard it from the big man himself. He is going to announce everything during the awards night, along with all of the Season 11 TPs. So, Madrid will be 100%. I did hear that, but I just didn't know if it was fully officialized. I think they announced it during the reserve program. So, the Madrid, the brand new track in Formula 1, is going to go ahead and be... Oh, wait, his rating is off! Oh, no, with 5 laps to go, that is surely championship over, as the Madrid will be a 100% Grand Prix next season. As we got 4 laps to go here in Division 1. And this is going to be, it's been a well-fought season here. As Enes Ray does find himself in the gravel. That is his championship over with, as it is down to 2. Is it going to be Fatcat? Is it going to be McJammy? These are 2 drivers separated by a singular point here. Now, I will say, if McJammy does... Actually, no, not even with fastest lap. McJammy would just have to win. Because it's a 5-point swing as it sits at the moment. Fatcat just needed to outscore McJammy by 1 singular point. And then that will be championship Fatcat. So, the gaps here have spread out quite a bit. Webber will be now the second driver to get a 3-second time penalty as we continue on racing. And it's going to be a good run here. We'll see who can go ahead and try to maximize the rest of this British Grand Prix. And we do have 5 of them here. It'll be the usual Div 1 through 5. Like I said, there are no reserve program because we don't have any remaining tracks after this. So, announcements for dates and such will happen during the awards night. So, that'll be something to look forward to. So, be sure you guys are following here at Rush Racing. And the awards, well, they will be announced on the awards night. So, awards night's pretty fun. I was at the last one for the first time. So it's really fun. It's a really fun night. You get to see who gets all the awards. There's a lot of good awards that are given out. There'll probably be some new ones here this time, I would imagine. So it'll be fun. It is, I believe, next weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So I think there's a 1 week in between. So yeah, 5th of June is the official. It is the official date for the award ceremony. I will be in attendance, and yes, something I haven't even mentioned, I will be hosting it alongside. So kind of hard to host it if I'm not in attendance myself. So I will be hosting awards night for the first time alongside SJ. So it's going to be a fun night. You guys should definitely tune on in as we begin the penultimate lap here of Division 1. We have been through 18 fantastic racing circuits across the globe, and we have made one final stop here in Silverstone. It has been a hard-fought championship. It's not quite over yet. Anything can happen. We have seen crazy things happen on the penultimate lap of a Grand Prix before. So, anything can happen. And this is pretty much all to play for here. It is leaning in Fatcat's direction. He is building up a gap. He is building up that gap here on the day. And I mean, Fatcat would have to have some kind of generational issue right now. EA would have to throw the championship for him, is at the state it's at right now. But I will give credit to where credit is due. McJammy's done a fantastic job. Aiden is rated also has done a fantastic job getting within 5 points of the championship, especially in Div 1. Div 1, the fastest div in Rush Racing. It's tough. It's a tough challenge, and these guys have put in a heck of an effort as we begin the final lap here of the season for Division number 1. And this it's pretty much all come down to this now, hasn't it? The final lap here. All Fatcat needs to do is bring this car home. He needs to bring it ahead of McJammy. He just needs to keep the car facing the right direction. He does not need to get any pens. He just really needs to bring it home here in the home of British motor racing. Now he's going to go ahead and make his way towards Maggots and Beckett's for one last time here this season. Fatcat. He's going to go ahead and make his way through the S's. And the reserve driver, who has not had a permanent home here this season, he will have something even greater than that. He will have a permanent place etched into the history books here of Rush Racing League. He's got a 3-second though. So hold on. Hold the phone here, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on. This could be huge. Fatcat's across the line, but with a 3-second penalty. McJammy's your driver's champion. McJammy, due to the penalty right at the end, he will get the points he needs. And McJammy, you are the driver's champion. I had the whole thing planned out for Fatcat because he was in such a spot. But it just shows you here, ladies and gentlemen, how crazy everything can get at the final stages. McJammy getting away with it here right at the end. The penalty that decided everything. McJammy, you are the driver's champion. Congratulations. I was not expecting a penalty to hit last second. That was right off the edge of club. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh. Oh, Fatcat. Oh, you gotta be hating things at the moment. But your driver's champion in Div 1, as it sits, it is Mick Jammy. You can now change that name to Mick Champion here, as you have done it. I don't think he was expecting it at this point, but he has absolutely done it here today. Championship in Div 1, when it was looking all but certain to go Fatcat's way. Oh, I am losing my voice from that. That is actually crazy here right at the end of the championship. A 3-second time penalty for track limit violations has gifted the championship to Mick Jammy. As we are not going to get the results here, unfortunately. We're going to get nothing. That is Really unfortunate. Hopefully somebody else gets all the fastest laps and stuff of that nature, because unfortunately we do not have it here. Love how EA decided to throw us one last curveball, but that is going to go ahead and be it here for the racing action. Now we go into our post-race show here on the night, as we will go ahead and try to get interviews in, and we're going to see how. I mean, the drivers are certainly going to want to. Wow, that is crazy stuff here. So I'll see if anyone wants to get a chat with us here at the moment. But boy, oh boy, that is. Wow. I'm actually at a loss for words. Wow. Also, apparently, Stick Party got two punctures in one singular race. So I'm going to try to get our interviewees in here. But boy, oh boy, was that something. So, all right, we're going to give it about another couple of minutes to see if we can get anybody else. But we do have our race winner and drivers champion here in the booth with us at the moment. We'll see if we can get anyone else. Um, okay, so we won't get Fatcat. And I don't know if we'll get Aiden. We'll wait another minute or so for Aiden, but we're gonna actually just go ahead and get started with the interviews at the moment. So I am standing here virtually, of course, with our drivers champion of Mick Jeremy, aka Meowsy. Now, Meowsy, I just gotta know, what was your reaction when you saw that penalty on the final sector?
Shock and a bit sadness because I don't want to win the championship like this. I don't deserve it. Fat Cat drove better, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say. If I was in this DRC and got a 3, then sure, I would feel a lot better. But my monitor turned off, lost CRS, and then when they got
Ah,
try to get close, and then I started overdriving the car, and I was just making mistakes left and right. I was honestly I was quite lucky because out of frustration, I was like going to intentionally drive off track in like frustration, or like not intentionally, but like push my car so much that I would basically be doing that. And then as soon as I was like thinking that, I see he gets a 3, and I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it doesn't feel very good. It was a bit bittersweet. Like I don't really deserve this championship. Fat Cat does, so I'm just lucky that I'm here.
well, here's the thing. It wasn't. It may have come down to one race, but it was something that you've built up over 17 prior races. It wasn't just one and done here for Silverstone. You built up this championship charge throughout the entire 18 round calendar here this season. So even though, yeah, I know you would have loved to win this title just on track, and it's always kind of a bummer when everything just comes down to pens. But at the end of the day, you put yourself in that position to even be in fighting distance for a championship. So congratulations on the championship. Even though it feels bittersweet, you have etched your name in the Rush Racing history books as the provisional Division 1 champion. So, taking a look at next season, what are your ambitions for next season?
Um, I mean, no, it needs to see. Well, I guess I need to see what the DLC is like. Hopefully, they continue this title streak, but I don't really know if that's going to be possible. Fat Cat's just getting quicker and quicker. Although I am still the same pace with him, it's just I feel like every race he gets slightly more quicker than me. So yeah, I reckon it'll be his to lose.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tricky one here. With the counter kind of being it'll be announced during the awards night and such. But I mean, we know about the Madrid being there, and I know the counter is already done. But what's one track you're hoping to see on the counter for next season?
Singapore, because I'm a bit of a Singapore merchant. I don't know, street tracks that isn't Saudi. I'm not really good around there, but yeah, any street tracks Abu Dhabi, I'm a big fan of. So I don't know why it's like it doesn't seem like good tracks, but I'm just good at them, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully not China. I do not want China at all. If I see that, I'm gonna like rage quit.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and ask you one more question before I pass you over to Daniel, who will have some questions. Is there anyone you'd like to give a special thanks or shout out to here tonight? The floor is all yours.
Um, I don't know. I don't want to say Fatcat for technically giving me the win, because technically that is what happened. But Duh for being a great TP. I did bring this up last week, but my uncle, I did try to win it for him, and I guess I did. Not the way I would have wanted to, but it's something.
Well, it may have not been the way you wanted to win the championship, but you are still the champion here tonight. Congratulations on a hard fought season. This definitely did not come easy. I mean, a 1 point gap in the final round pretty much says it all here. And I think even in total, I didn't see who got cleanest driver, but I think that gap was 6 points at the end. So well done to you throughout the season, and I'll pass you over to Daniel if he's got any other questions or comments.
Well, I've got no questions for you, mate. But obviously, like Rekka said earlier, you wanted to win it on the track. That didn't happen. But you still you still deserve it after the season you put in. But no questions from me. But congratulations, mate. Go soak this one up with the team and enjoy it. Well done, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and let Daniel take away the first batch of interviews with our P3 driver, who also got P3 in the championship with Aiden Israel. Over to you guys.
Aiden is rated so close, but yet so far. What was your thoughts of that race?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I think Meowsy lost DRS, so we went on and pushed, and I lost DRS because he's way faster than me. So I was in a bit of a what's it called? No man's zone, no man's area, whatever it is. And then yeah, I knew Filippo would be slow because he pitched very early, and I was trying to push and just lost on the exit. Got a bit of damage too.
Yeah, if you did have the pace and the speed, do you think you would have fought for the victory and maybe the championship?
Well, if I was a lot faster, then yes, but I'm not, so probably not. Those two guys are very fast. Yeah, there's no way I was going to claw back a victory unless they crashed or took each other out.
Now I'm going to ask the same question as Rekez that he asked McJammy. With the 2026 calendar coming out and the new cars, what's one track you're looking forward to seeing?
Well, it's only Madrid that's coming, so obviously excited for that to see how it's going to go. The cars will be interesting. There's no more DRS, so all I can do, I've done all the race and just stick with DRS and have them drag me along. So I think it's going to bring a lot more talent to the game, or people who are naturally faster will be able to just go ahead and drop other people. So it'll definitely be completely different, very interesting.
Before I hand you over to Rekez, if he's got any other questions or comments, who would you like to thank for this whole season?
Definitely Symphonic for helping the team, all the setups and the engineering, and also Swift here. Swift also, just a great driver, always there. Great teamwork, operating with the Dura swaps. And yeah, it's a shame he got 3 seconds. He could have been up there on the podium, but yeah, it's definitely those two guys.
Aiden is rated so close, but yet so far. Go enjoy this P3. Rekez, it's over to you if he's got any more questions or comments.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. So, Aiden, it was a very hard-fought season here. Unfortunately, not quite the championship, but how would you say, or how proud of you of the progress you made here this season?
I'm very proud. I think I got P3 in the end, unless I get a penalty, I think I got P3 in the championship. Especially after no points for the first 3 races, and a few hiccups. I'm very happy. It's been a great season, a lot of development, and yeah, I think we had a great run here in Div 1 with the team.
How do you think you're going to go with the 2026 DLC? Do you think you're going to need a ton of work to really try to get used to the new cars, or do you think you'll be able to pick it up right away?
Well, it depends how good the cars are. If the physics are good, then I don't think there'll be much issues, but um, if they're a bit lazy, I know it's a bit of a bridging game. No, it's not a full new game. It's a bit like F1 2014, if you remember. F1 2014 wasn't great. I can't say I have high expectations for 2026 cars in the game, but yeah, it's got to put a lot of time into it to try and get up to speed.
All right. Well, congratulations on the championship position. Best of luck to you next season, and enjoy the break.
Cheers, thank you.
All right, everybody. That's going to go ahead and wrap things up here in Div 1 for the entire season. That is a crazy thing to say. The season just feels like it's just going to blown by, hasn't it, Daniel?
Yeah, it's kind of blown by. I remember when we just started Div 1 and we were all excited. New cars, new people, new teams. Well, not new teams, but you're trying to get what I'm doing. But yeah, it's kind of felt like it's blown past.
Yeah, we've already been through 18 rounds here, Div 1, but we still got more racing action for you to go, and maybe the end of Div 1, but it is not the end of the season. I do want to join SJ in saying a massive congratulations to everybody who has competed in Division 1, whether you were a reserve or full-time driver, championship or not. Congratulations to all the drivers who have participated. A massive thank you to you guys for tuning in each week to all the Div 1 action. And hopefully we'll see you guys back again for the next season with Div 1. I'm going to go and wrap things up here. Massive shout out to our sponsors who have been with us through all 18 rounds. Sim Racing Center, SimLab, and Pagnian Advanced Simulation. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. And thank you guys in the Twitch chat who have been here every single week. It has been a great run with you guys. And Daniel, any final thoughts before we send this one to the sunset?
Well, my one final thought is if you guys do want to see me race in Div 2, come watch it tomorrow night. Is it tomorrow night? Yeah, pretty sure. Tomorrow night I'm racing in Div 2, same track. I want to see if I can go to winning from the reserve program to winning Div 2. So, yeah, if you guys do want to see me race, come out and watch me tomorrow night. But, yeah, that's my final thought, honestly.
Div 2 is going to be a really fun one to watch. I, unfortunately, will not be covering Div 2, but it is tied in the championship. If you thought it was close with there being only 1 point in the mix, it is tied between the two championship protagonists of Toast and Ryan Adair currently, and they are the only ones in mathematical contention for the championship. So, tied title battle coming into the finale. So hopefully you guys do tune in for that. But that's going to go to wrap things up here in Div 1. On behalf of Daniel, my name is Patrick Coleman, a.k.a. Rekkus, and we have been your hosts and commentators throughout the season. We'll see you guys next time. Stay hydrated, take care of yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you guys here for Season 11 coming up. Have a good night.
Bye.